no alternatives, one stack, execute. If I have to start today and to build web apps, websites, and etc. with the help of AI, this is the full stack that I will use. And I'm not going to give alternatives. I'm going to give you the exact stack I am using. So this is the exact stack that I have used to build a web app for glass installation and production company, for which I have charged 6,700 euros. Let's get into it. Before I start to list you the applications and tools that we're going to use, I want to tell that the beginner's problem is just because they do not choose one tool to try to master them and to try to see the capabilities of these tools and applications in order to build something. They just think that if they change the AI model, if they change the tool, it's gonna magically start building the applications and solving problems by itself, which is not true. This is why when you know too many tools, you take no action. When you know exact tools that you can use, even maybe they are not the best tools in the market, but you know how to use them and you can make money from them. So the equation has to be how much you are paying for the tools, how much you get, and that's it. Let's start now. I'm going to show you the tools first and what is the purpose of each tool. So here is the full stack from end to end. First, Visual Studio Code. We are starting with Visual Studio Code. You just come to Google, write VS Code and download it. And when you install it on your PC, you're going to see this type of screen. You just have to create a new folder, for example, in your PC, and then click open folder, and you can choose the folder that you're going to work in. So whatever folder you choose here, it means that you are creating files and operating in this folder. So this full application is free, and this is the scaffolding, file editing, setting up everything. This is the main thing in building the web app. And what we're gonna use here in Visual Studio Code is gonna be OpenAI's Codex. So you have to be on the plus plan, ChatGPT, but in meantime you can use fully your ChatGPT and also the Codex with specific rate limits, which are really good because every week they are refreshing, and it has been completely enough for me to make hundreds of edits in the app, and I didn't hit any rate limit. I was close 1 week, but I didn't hit them. So if you have a subscription in OpenAI, now let's go to VS Code. And here we have to make this Codex extension. You have to see the extensions from the left side, and here write Codex and just click Codex and install it. And that's it. And this view, this icon will appear here from the left side. And when you click it, you can close this window, this one as well. Here are the chats. Here is the reasoning and etc. I'm not going to go in deep detail. 5.3 Codex, and here are the files, plan mode, and etc. When you click here on Explorer, you see your files. In chat here, you are talking with this AI, and the AI has access to the files and everything in this folder, so it can build the files and you can plan, brainstorm, and work with it. The next thing that we're going to use is for our automations and backend services and connecting our web app to other integrations, which is n8n. So you have to go to n8n, either use it on their cloud or self-host it, as I am doing. I am self-hosting it on Render since the beginning, and I am really happy with them. And this is n8n. Here you can create new automations, which via webhooks we can connect to our web app. So because in n8n we can use it for our backend in order to connect our web app to our other integrations with Google and etc. We can do it via using the Google's API, but better to use n8n because in the executions we can debug the errors and etc. We can see the inputs and outputs that we want, and we can additionally add other integrations and stuff, which will be really hard to do with coding straight away directly in the app, and we will expose a lot of links, APIs, and etc. So it's really good to use n8n for our automations. Then what you will need, where this application files and all of the things will live. So in VS Code, you know that your full application will be here with all of the files. But we must connect this in order to make a version control, which means, for example, you make some changes in your code, and after that you did some mistake and your app is not working, you want to revert it. In order to do that, you're connecting to GitHub. So you come to Google, write GitHub, make a GitHub account, and then here you can see repositories. This means, if you are familiar with Windows, folders. So you can create new folders here. You just create new repository. This is the folder name, let's say. And when you create it, let's say full stack test, and you can do public. If it's public, everyone can access it. If it's private, only you can choose who can access it. Because we are making an app which we will use and deploy later, we will use private repo, create the repo, and that's it. Now we can connect our VS Code to this folder, and straight away then whatever actions here happens, there are commands in GitHub like push. So in 5 minutes, if you ask ChatGPT to explain you the commands in GitHub, you will learn them. I'm not going to explain them now. So when you push, when you make a commit and push, straight away, these files that are on your PC are gonna go into this folder or repository in your GitHub account. And then every push and every commit, it's becoming a history of this project. And if you want, you can go back in time to whatever commit or whatever push or changes that you have made. So to return the app in the working state and continue from there. This is the simple explanation of it. There are a lot of more options and stuff, but this is it. And then we have our local folder, we have VS Code, we have our AI. What we will need in order to save the data which is going back and forth within the app, for this thing, we're gonna need Supabase, which is a database to store data. And when we go to Supabase, straight away we can use their free plan. Even it's more than enough to test and build and deploy your web app. And in Supabase, there are options to create, if you want to create users or authentication for your application, and also some edge functions, which this edge function means from your web application to be able to create and delete authorized users in your database, which is running a function in the database. So here, make your registration and you can create tables and etc. So when you start working with your codex, you can tell that for database you are using Supabase. Because you don't have to know any SQL commands or anything. Because when you go and tell Codex, when you are building your app, what kind of tables and etc. for our database I will need, it will give you straight away the SQL command that you just copy, come here to SQL editor, just paste them here and click run. And it straight away it will create whatever tables you need. It's gonna make the security of them. Everything will be perfectly aligned because the AI model knows exactly how it is building the app. And then when you have your database, you have your folder, you have your AI, you have your automations, you have everything that you will need, how this web app will become live and people can access it and your client will able to use it. Then comes Render. The Render is a cloud application platform. Here in Render, you can make an account, and in your account, you can deploy web applications, static web pages, web services like n8n, for example. And as you can see in our project, we have n8n straight away deployed in render, and our web application is deployed directly like a static web page. So what this does is this gets all of the files and everything from this private GitHub folder, and it is connecting it and making it public. So it's deploying the app. And why render is really good for that? Because there is auto deploy function, which means whenever you make changes, let's say you have added some new functionality or something in VS Code to your application, straight away when you push it to your GitHub repository, render checks if there are some new changes in the GitHub repository, and it straight away deploys the latest version. And your changes are going to be live after 2 to 3 minutes straight away in the application. Also, there are a lot of options that you can use here. For example, environmental variables that we can use for our application in order to have security. For example, we are using a webhook and we don't want to expose our webhook in the web application. So we can use it as an environmental variable, and the people who are accessing the website are not going to be able to see what exact link we are using in the backend. And this is the app that has been created with this full stack. You have a login page, and then in the application, you have the views of the client cards, tables, a calendar, which is working every day, has a new system and etc. Reviews, holiday section, salaries of the people, administration of all of the workers and etc. Analytic tab, which is for their analysis, history and log, new customer requests, a profile tab, and etc. So this application has been built with this full stack. I'm not going to show the client cards because it's a confidential information. So you can see straight away it's a Kanban. If I click network or table, it's going to change the view of the cards and etc. And all of the things here are built separately, and everything is functional and custom built for the client processes especially. And if you need this type of application to be custom built for you, you can contact me via my email or my number. And where is the AI in this whole situation? The AI is in VS Code when we are building the app. And if you have some AI functionalities here or in your automations in n8n, for example, here you can use again the same models with their API key, of course, is going to be charged separately. And lastly, how this makes money. So how this whole thing makes money. You can build custom web applications. You can build easily whatever websites you can build applications with user logins and other integrations. You can build full automations and optimize processes in businesses. You can charge tons of money for that. For this application, for example, let's say you are building this application, but with only 3 of the functionalities of the app that I have, just admin panel, internal dashboard with clients and etc. Just for simple workflows, tracker, and maybe some automation, you can easily charge from 2,500 to maybe 4,000 dollars, euros, whatever, it depends on your country for this type of application. If you do it fully like me, you can charge near 8,000, 9,000. It depends on the complexity, maybe even more. If you make simple automations and just, for example, you have automations in n8n and etc., you can copy this automation and build a face of this automation, which client doesn't have to see this and use this, but the client will see some kind of visual representation of the automation. And this will increase the price again that you can charge for one automation, for example, $1,000 or 1,500. And for retainers, let's say from 300, it depends if it's really complex retainer. You're going to work a lot with these people. So they want tons of changes, put this there, change this button, change this color and etc., or add new functionalities. It can reach maybe 1,500 per month, even more. It depends on the project. And this is the thing. So do not think about where to start, what to do. I have given you the full stack. Just go learn these tools. Even you can learn these tools when asking Codex to tell you how to use them. And you can brainstorm with it as well. So use these tools, use this full stack to build, for example, a simple application for you, but something useful that you really inside you know that it is useful and you are using it to save time or make some money from that. And then you start publishing and showing yourself in front of people that you are building this type of AI automations. Even if you don't have any testimonials or anything, build for cheap, get testimonials, but you cannot know what you must build before talking with client, because you're going to imagine some kind of problems and etc., but they are not going to be the same problems of this specific client. Everyone has some custom and specific to them problems. So this is why the general templates and etc. are not working that much, because not every business has the exact same problems, and not every business is operating in exact same processes. This is why better to start publishing, just learn the tools, publish and show yourself in front of people and tell that you are doing some case studies and etc. And or build for your friends companies and stuff, just to get testimonial and see in real life if the thing that you are building is working, or it's just a nice looking app that does nothing and that doesn't have any efficiency in processes. And if you want to build with me and my personal help, to jump on a live calls with me weekly and to build together some applications, get advice, the full path how you can do it, you can join Murai Academy from the link below, and see you in there. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. Inside you're gonna have access to me, weekly calls with me, you have courses, and we build together. Whatever problems you have, we can solve them together as well. So if you want to start building and stop the overwhelm, join the community from the link below. And if you find this video helpful for you, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and see you on the next video. And if you want to see how you can straight away host your n8n on render, click the video here so you can straight away start building. Thank you.